Because corruption is a serious risk to social justice, sustainable development, and national security, and the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, I am harnessing our working relationship with other arms of government to encourage the judiciary and parliament to enhance integrity and efficiency by adopting digitization and automation. As I do so, I must caution that all these measures will only achieve intended results if, and only if, the institutions charged with combating corruption and promoting efficiency and integrity stop hiding behind the transparent screen of independence and rise up to meet the people's expectation on matters integrity. Let me say this. It cannot be the case that the Director of Public Prosecutions keeps dropping cases because somehow they are unable to produce witnesses. It cannot also be the case that corruption suspects rush to court to obtain anticipatory bail that shields them from due process and enables them to compromise investigations. There is also no reason for corruption cases to drag in our courts for years, when the same courts are able to determine election petitions and related disputes within 6 months. Members, it is also unacceptable for the Houses of Parliament to deny the nation a much-needed instrument in the war against corruption by continuing to sabotage the passage of the Conflict of Interest Bill. I implore you, honorable members, to stop dragging your feet on this bill, unless, my friends, there is a conflict of interest in the passing of the conflict of interest legislation. Similarly, the National Treasury has been dragging its feet in the implementation of an e-procurement system for the last 10 years. Today, I have directed the National Treasury to roll out the e-procurement system by the end of the first quarter of 2025 and ensure that going forward, only procurement undertaken through this system is sanctioned and paid for. Of the many difficult assignments I have undertaken, this fight against corruption is one I now take on with resolve going forward. Let this serve as notice to all. Independent institutions charged with this responsibility must up their game, pull up their socks, and match up to the expectations of the people of Kenya. Honorable members, I have stated in the past, and now reiterate today, that in the face of undisputed evidence or credible information on corruption, I will not hesitate to take decisive action. Accordingly, I now direct, in furtherance of the principles enshrined in Article 10 of the Constitution on transparency and accountability, and based on new information provided by investigative agencies and partner nations, that the procuring agencies within the Ministry of Transport and the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum immediately cancel the ongoing procurement process for the JKIA expansion public-private partnership transaction, as well as because of the information that has been provided to us by partner nations, I have directed agencies within the Ministry of Transport and the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum to immediately cancel the ongoing procurement process for JKI expansion public-private partnership transaction, as well as the recently concluded Ketrago transmission in public partnership procurement process, and immediately commence the process of onboarding alternative partners, because these are important projects.
But on behalf of the Council of Governors, we want to register our disappointment with that figure of 387. Frankly, we knew that there was 4 possibilities, and we had, discussed this in our last meeting, extraordinary meeting. What if they agree at the figure of the National Assembly, or they agree? Our best of all worlds would have been to agree to a mediated position of 400. If we would have gotten an increase of 13.5 from last year, we would have been neutral with respect to payroll costs. But now, we're actually taking a hit of 11.5 billion as a result of an increase in payroll costs, which increase in payroll cost has not been offset by the increase in equitable share. We've been reading this and seeing in the media that the finance minister wants to go back to the Houses of Parliament to raise another 178 billion shillings. Question then is, if the reduction to the counties was done on account of the inability to raise the anticipated taxes because of the failure to pass the finance bill at national level, if that is now amended, and if the minister is able to raise more taxes, will there be then an opportunity to amend DORA to increase the allocation to counties? And this will have an effect on counties. It will have an effect on development expenditure. It will have an effect on recruitments for essential staff. It will have an effect on the amount counties have to spend on operations. It will have an effect on the ability to meet ratios, such as is required of them legally, such as the requirement to at least spend 30% on development. A lot of the counties are already struggling, so that also will not be possible for most of the counties. But this 13.5 just isolated the non-discretionary expenditure that counties have to meet this fiscal year between 1st of July 2024 and 30th of June 2025 as a result of laws that have been passed at national level, and agreements, intergovernmental agreements that have been agreed between county governments and the national government.